You ever woken up to the sound of the garbage truck picking up your neighbor's trash? But not your trash, because you forgot to take the trash cans out.
You just described my morning this morning.
Literally, like that happened this morning.
To a T, yes.
So that unfolded this whole conversation about like, why is it so flippin' hard to just remember the trash?
To like just take the trash out the night before. I feel like it should not be that hard. Instead, I wake up at 7:15 and instantly I'm like, I didn't take out the trash.
I don't know. Maybe you're like us. Maybe you're not crazy. Either way, that's what we're going to talk about today in the podcast. Welcome to the Let's Quit podcast.
Quitting is not always a bad thing.
If you have the right mindset, quitting can be the most powerful tool you have on your journey to success. It's certainly been helpful for us.
Whether it's flying through hurricanes, building our businesses, or just trying to get to bed on time, we're always trying to level up and improve our lives.
This is the show where we share the lessons, experiences, and friends that have helped us live this incredible life. So let's quit the bad and grow the good together.
All right, welcome back to all of our listeners, whether you've been listening to our podcast for months now or this is your first one. Thank you so much for supporting us. If you want to support us even more, you can go to Patreon at patreon.com/jennieanddavis. Pick a tier that works for you, and we would really, really appreciate it. We are still a listener-supported show.
Yeah, and a free way to support the show, if you're interested, is just to share it with a friend. If you think our babblings would help somebody else out, we'd really appreciate you if you texted them a link to a show or something like that. That would be great.
And another free way to support the show would be to leave us a review on your podcasting app of choice.
5 stars is our preferred rating. Please and thanks. All right, let's get into it. So what do we do this week?
Oh my gosh. Well, I sold a batch order of charcuterie boards. So
what?
Yeah.
Tell that story.
Okay, so there's a realtor that I had been talking to for a while. I actually sent her a free board just as a sample to see what we do. She really, really liked it. But then I didn't really hear anything from her. So I had followed up with her once and she said, hey, you should come check out my office. We just built this brand new office. It's really cool on the inside. I'd love to give you a tour. And I was like, okay. So I stopped by her office one day just to see the place and say hi. And I brought her a charcuterie board with her logo engraved on the back.
We have a woodworking business for anybody that just doesn't know. The one or two listeners that are very confused right now. We got a woodworking business in the Houston area. One of the things we're trying to do is sell closing gifts to realtors. So Jenny walked in with a charcuterie board. Anyway, I'll let you pick it up there.
Yes. So basically, I was bringing her a free charcuterie board just to say, hey, remember me? And I left it there because she was gone for the afternoon. So I just left it on her desk with a note. And I get a phone call later that night, like 8:30 p.m. because these realtors are like, go all day. Like they are working until like 9 p.m. It's nuts. And she leaves a voicemail and she's like, hey, I'm so sorry I missed you today. Like, glad you got to see the office. Thank you so much for the board. It's beautiful. And she goes, but I feel bad because the reason I wasn't there is because I was buying a closing gift for a closing I have in 2 days. And I was buying them a gift card. Like, I totally forgot to like buy a cutting board. Like, I'm so sorry. I forgot. And then I'm like, wow, this is I have a chance now to swoop in and
you
say,
had her
like,
on the ropes then. She felt bad. She already committed to buying one from you last week or whatever. And then now you got her.
And then I gave her something else free. I was just like throwing tons of value at her. And anyways, and so I called her back the next day. I was like, hey, it's all good. It's super like, good to hear from you. By the way, if you want to buy like more than one board at a time, we can give you like a batch discount. And she totally ate that up. I'm sure partly because she felt guilty, and then other part probably because heard the word discount.
Don't care.
Don't care either way. So it was really nice. So I sold a batch of those charcuterie boards to her for closing gifts. So.
Which now that's going to be like our standard because we started realizing we were doing so much work with these realtors, with boxing up and sending them a board. And then we were also asking them to remember us when they needed to buy a closing gift. And even somebody that was really appreciative responded probably the best of any other realtor we've talked to. She forgot about you too. So it's not really a problem with the product. It's not a problem with your relationship with her. It's literally like she just forgot. It's not, it's not that complicated.
Right. So then we were like, hey, if we need a new system to help them not forget, we'll do that. So
because we had set up a web page for them just to check out every time they wanted to buy one, but we're realizing that if they're going to buy one board, they're going to buy 10 to 20. Mm-hmm. So why not pre-sell 20 boards And then all they got to do is send us a text message. And then when they get low on inventory, Jennie can call them back up and be like, yo, you're about to run out of boards. How great was the last 20? Would you like to do more?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a better business model for us going forward. But
Yep.
anyway, it was exciting to finally hear that story. And Jennie came in to tell me the story, and I just started laughing my butt off because it was just so funny to hear Jennie get somebody on the ropes.
Yeah.
Because Jennie's usually pretty timid and shy.
Yeah.
It was just funny to hear her get all excited about it. So,
but it was a good time. It made for a solid week. We made a big sale, learned a lot from it, got to try out some of our new business processes for the first time on that first customer. So all in all, it was a win.
And on that note, Eric is doing really well.
Eric is doing fantastic. So for those of you who don't know, Eric is my younger brother. He is out here just learning the woodworking business with us for a little while. He's learning how to use all the tools, kind of how we run the business. And he's picked it up so fast. He's doing a really good job, even with the Glowforge. I was so when you do laser engraving,
he's actually fulfilling an order right now.
Yeah, exactly. And whether you're doing it with a CNC or a laser engraver, there's a bit of a learning curve because you have to learn the software of how to get the designs in there and then get them engraved from the computer, like onto the actual hardware. And anyways, there's a lot that goes into it. But he's picking it up super fast, way faster than I did. It took me a while to like understand conceptually how to engrave something with a CNC and a laser, but he's like, oh no, I got it. And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
So it's so funny, just the person like, I taught you how to make your first bowl of cereal. I taught you how to climb on the counters and get a cup from the cabinets. And now you're schooling me and like doing a way better job than I ever did learning the laser engraver. So it's been really fun to see.
Yeah. He's also been a huge help with finishing up that living room set. So we sold a living room set to one of our coworkers in the Air Force. Got to deliver that here in a couple weeks, but we got everything done. Everything's finished. Like we got to spray finish. That's all that we got to do. It's stained. Everything's finished. It just went together without any hiccups.
Which is kind of scary.
I know. It's like, I'm like, what's going to go wrong? So anyway, it worked out really nicely. I don't want to talk too much about it in case the customer, like we got a couple surprises in there for him, but I think we already spoiled something in a live stream, but in case he listens to the podcast, I don't want to spoil anything else, but we're really excited to deliver that. It's our first like big custom job that we've done here in Houston. Since we've been here in Houston. We've done some smaller jobs, but this is the biggest custom job that we've done, and I think it's going to be the last one for quite a while.
Yeah, we've got some other stuff in the works that's going to take up our time,
which we will talk about in the coming weeks, which is a great reminder to subscribe to the show if you're enjoying it. Please follow along with us. We also published a show to YouTube. If you're not watching it there, if you're just an audio listener, that's fine. We respect you. Probably listen to us in the car or
wherever just want to relax.
That's okay. But if you'd like to watch our bright shining faces for some silly reason, we're also on YouTube. You can just Google Google owns YouTube. You can just YouTube, if that's a verb. You can YouTube
Let's Quit podcast, and it'll pop right up for you.
So if you want to watch the video version, we do that for you as well.
Yep. Speaking of videos, though, we took a little bit of a chance on our YouTube video this week. So yes, we decided to make a video that was geared toward younger people. Mm-hmm. We get a lot of questions from like older adult woodworkers, but we also get a good chunk of questions from young like high schoolers.
Yeah, we do.
Who are taking shop classes. Maybe they're about to graduate high school and they want to start their own business or do something woodworking related. And so we just decided to make a video for them and answer the questions we get, because I feel like there's not a whole lot of content out there for young woodworkers. There's a ton for like older established woodworkers who've been doing this for decades, but not necessarily, for the 17-year-old who, has one more year left in high school and wants to know how to start his own business.
Well, there's just such a big difference too.
Yeah.
Like you're selling to completely different customer bases. Really your business model is totally different because, and we talk about it in the video, older people, adults, grown-ups, we will spend 2 to 3 times as much money on the same thing just because a kid is selling it. We were stopped in traffic the other day, and there were these people that, like, I don't know where they get them, but they buy bouquets of flowers and then they stand on the street corner and resell them. And there was one intersection, there was a guy walking up and down the median, and then on another side of the intersection, there was a mother and daughter walking up and down the median. They must have sold 5 or 6 bouquets in the time we were sitting at that red light. We were there, and the other guy, I didn't think he sold any. It's just crazy how often people will open their wallets for kids, no matter the capacity. So if you go into your business as a young person knowing that you have that advantage, I don't want to say you can take advantage of it, because I don't want to like put that negative connotation on it, but you
Yeah.
can take advantage of it. Like if there's anybody that's going to overpay, it's going to be adults overpaying for young kids in the community, and get it while it's good, man. Like,
and I feel like the advantage you have is so many people want to see you succeed because you're young.
Yeah.
You have your whole like future and your life ahead of you. So what a perfect time to like start doing something difficult, because you have a huge community of people around you that just want to see you succeed.
and you will never have that again. When you try to start a business again in your 20s or your 30s or your 40s or your 50s or 60s or 70s.
People are like, you're just another adult. You're just another business owner.
Nobody's going to give you special treatment. If anything, it's going to be way harder for you then, because you're not going to have the support of people around you. Yes, some people are going to shop local and support you, but and the vast majority of people are more helpful towards young entrepreneurs than they are towards middle-aged and older entrepreneurs.
Yep. And so with like those younger entrepreneurial minded people come kind of a different set of questions that we typically get from the adults. A lot of them are the same. Like there's just questions within sales that like everybody has, but there are a few topics that we hear more from like the young people than we do the older crowd. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was a fun video.
I'm excited to see if this video takes off and does what we think it's going to do. Again, if you've been following along for a little while, we're trying to skew our audience younger. Right now we just had to send a screenshot to Carhartt from a sponsored deal this week and of our analytics. And the screenshot was like showing the demographics of our audience. And it was like 99% males age 35 to 65.
Yep.
It was like 99% of all of our viewers on this video. And this video did way better than most of our videos do. And it was just, it wasn't sad. Like, we're super happy that people are watching our videos. We're not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. But one of the things we want to do is we want to also communicate and reach out to younger people, because a lot of the videos that we're making, I mean, this is like the best advice to starting a YouTube channel is to like make a video that you would want to watch.
Yes.
Make a video that you would want to watch. Not of yourself, but like if I found this other random guy talking on the internet, would I want to subscribe to his channel? If you make videos consistently that you can say that about, you're going to make better videos. Well, the videos that we're making are the videos that we want to show younger versions of ourselves. If I had this video 3 years ago, I probably could have saved myself some heartache. So that's kind of the content that we're making, and conveniently, we are young, so if we want to share, we want to share that video, I think its maximum impact is going to be people slightly younger than us. So we're trying to skew our audience younger. Not that older people can't learn from our mistakes too. It's just I want a more diverse spread in our analytics. I don't know. I'm just
we love our audience now, but we're like, let's grow it. Like they're, add more people to the family.
Right. And yeah, so we took a chance. We took a shot down the field on this video. Probably flopped, but we'll see.
We always record these before, like a few days before the video goes live.
Yeah, we haven't even edited the video. We just filmed it today.
Yeah.
We'll edit it tomorrow, and then it'll come out Monday. So that's our schedule if you're curious. We do filming, editing, and uploading on Fridays and Saturdays, and then Monday and Tuesday you guys see the content. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. So I don't think it's too far separated, but
so that was our week.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
That was pretty much it. We're prepping for bigger stuff coming up, like a Houston rodeo stuff and all the things that surround that. We're getting a lot of orders in. We're trying to train up Eric. Like, our plate's pretty full right now.
Yeah.
I don't know that we could really take anything else on. It's exciting. I'm happy that it's happening. It's just, this was the first week where I looked at Jennie and I was like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're running a business. Like, I don't know, imposter syndrome, if that's what you want to like put a label on it or whatever. But like, I've just felt for the last couple of weeks that like we haven't been doing it. We've just been like playing the part or hoping that it's going to come. But like when you got off the phone and you told me I just made $700 worth of charcuterie boards sales, like, what? We're doing it. It's just, I don't know. I just got really excited. And
we got a couple more orders in this morning.
And you've got like a whole list of people to call back on Monday. So
I have like 2 messages on Instagram from realtors like coming to us that they've heard of from other realtors.
Oh, that's right. You sent a board to that charcuterie girl too.
So I engraved a board and sent it to a girl in Houston that decorates the charcuterie boards. Like,
luxury charcuterie boards.
Yeah, luxury charcuterie boards. They're gorgeous. And so I just sent her a board and I was like, I want to get you a free board. And she really liked it. She shared it on her Instagram. We shared it like on our Instagram. And just starting a really good dialogue with somebody in the community who could very possibly be interested in our products. And we have the opportunity to like help each other out while we're at it too. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we're just finally busting into the entrepreneurial market like we wanted to,
right.
In Houston. So there's plenty of people like that out here.
Yes.
Houston is very industrial and business oriented.
Which is why we're here. Literally, that's why we moved here. So
a lot of gas and oil, but also a lot of tech jobs. Just a lot of industry jobs are out here. There's a welding school. Just all sorts of like really cool entrepreneurial stuff going down in Houston, which conveniently enough is why we moved here.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So
that's our week. I feel like we have to move on. Otherwise, we're going to think of like other things that happened this week and then get on rabbit trails.
It's okay. It's a podcast. That's what a podcast is for. It shouldn't be called a podcast. It should be called a rabbit trail listening.
That is true.
Audiogram.
That is very true. Podcasts are very prone to getting distracted.
Man, I want to do a poll on Instagram now. What would you, if you could rename the word podcast, if you could substitute it with a more descriptive name, what would it be? Rabbit Trail Audiogram is my vote.
Rabbit Trail Audiogram.
Because that's all a podcast is you're going deep down there. You listen to somebody's podcast, it's like...
You got all the info. You got the behind the scenes. You got the how they made the behind the scenes. You got everything.
That's like that's like going to breakfast at somebody's house.
Yeah.
It's like anybody gets invited over for dinner, but you get invited over for breakfast. All right, you guys are close.
Yeah.
You're really getting in the scoop of things.
Maybe we should eat breakfast on our podcast one time, and then people can come to breakfast with us in the YouTube version of our podcast.
I don't think people want to listen to us do a mukbang video of breakfast foods.
No, definitely not. Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Rabbit trail. The sound of people chewing, it's the worst.
There's a word
possible.
for that. Do you know what it is?
I hate that.
You should know what that word is.
No, I have no idea what the word is. But it's like people that just chew or like smack or like chew with their mouth open. It's like, ugh.
It's some kind of phobia. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's a huge book of all the phobias in it somewhere. I don't know what this one is.
All right. Well, anyway. So out of that rabbit hole and onto the title topic.
Yes.
We don't have a quote.
Nope.
11 minutes later.
I got a Bible verse. Will that work?
What is it?
Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Luke 16:10. Let's do it. That's the quote. Welcome to the quote. Sweet. We totally didn't forget to find a quote before we hit record. That's not
definitely not.
So the title of this episode is quit forgetting to take out the trash. That's the title. So what we mean by that is like just that concept of like, oh no, I forgot this little tiny thing.
And things that get forgotten repeatedly. Like this morning was not the first time that I've forgotten to take the trash out, and I wake up to the noise of the truck driving down our street and not stopping at our house. Like,
but why did you forget?
Because I don't have a system for remembering. I don't think it's like, I don't place enough importance on it to like remember. I'm like, oh, it's just the trash. It's whatever. It'll come later this week and I can put it out a second time. I'm sure that's what a lot of you are saying right now. Maybe when you heard the intro, but like, yeah, at least that's my first reaction. I was like, oh, it's just the trash. It's not a big deal. It's coming again this week. But like the trash is such a perfect, guinea pig to like try to like you're trying to improve your life. Try to solve forgetting the trash can. You will learn so much about yourself. You will find out tendencies and problems and like things you're running away from, all stemming. You think I'm crazy, but it's the truth. Like you forget to take out the trash because you are crazy in some way, form, or fashion. We all are, but like your special kind of crazy is why you don't take the trash out. And unpacking that and trying to solve that problem is going to teach you more about yourself. Yes. So if I were to if I were to kind of unpack why I don't
unpack the trash.
Is that
what you're saying?
Yes. If I were to unpack like why I keep forgetting to take out the trash, if I was to really look into it, honestly, it's because I don't have a reminder to take out the trash on the night before it comes. And I don't like scheduling things and like getting into nitty-gritty details and organizing. I hate creating systems and organizing all of my information and things I need to do. So I just don't do it. And especially when it's something as small as taking the trash out, then I'm really not going to want to like slow down and write taking out the trash in my calendar. But if I would, it's so simple. Just take 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes, and make a recurring event in my Google Calendar. Like, the problem's pretty much solved,
Forever,
right?
yeah.
Forever.
Well, my problem is that I work way too hard. Like, I don't mean that to be like a humble brag. Like, oh, my flaw is that I work too hard.
Oh, what was that like? Office Space or The Office, where he was like
in the interview question.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I just care too much. That's one of my flaws. Like, no, I'm not saying like that. Like, my problem is I get too hyper focused on the one thing that I'm doing. I got a one-track mind. That's it. And if I work way too hard, I don't take breaks, I don't slow down, I don't stop, and I crash and burn at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm so tired when I come in from the shop or whatever I'm focused on that I'm not going to do anything other than fall face first onto the pillow and go to sleep because I haven't prioritized the other things in my day. Again, like, I don't even know that I would listen to the calendar if it went off because I'm so tuned into whatever it is that I'm doing. So
yeah, I get that.
I don't know that a calendar is like my solution. I think, which is what I have been doing the last couple months, my solution to that is to stop working at a certain time every day. There is no shortage of work to be done. I will never run out of things to do. So I have to quit on my terms so that I don't forget something more important, which leads us to our next point. Like, you don't just forget the small things. This pattern of behavior of like constantly like forgetting to do little things catches up with you in the long term. It really does.
When you let things slide, they don't just disappear. It's I picture it like, you remember Monica's closet on Friends?
Oh, yes.
Where she just kept everything, like all the random stuff that she didn't want to see or worry about in a closet. It was not organized. It was just a complete like chaotic room of just stuff. And I picture that every time you let one little thing slide, it gets piled up in that closet and it gets fuller and fuller and fuller until one day, like, you just so much as touch the door or tap the door and it explodes, and now you've got a way bigger problem.
Or worse, your friends don't know what, like, this is what happened in the TV show.
Yeah.
Your friends don't realize that that's your don't touch anything in here closet, and they open the door and it all comes crumbling out.
Right.
At the wrong place at the wrong time. So you never know when your friends are going to like hit a nerve or bring up a subject that's sensitive to you because you haven't done the work of like teasing it out and taking responsibility of solving the problem.
Like, if my friends came over and then we were chilling in the backyard and they said, "Wow, Jennie, why do you have like 6 trash bags piled up like in your backyard?" And all of a sudden I'm like, excuse you, are you calling my backyard like gross? Trashy? What are you trying to say? And then I get all defensive because I haven't solved the only problem in my life of like figuring out how to take my trash out.
Right. And you have to plug in for yourself. Like, what is it that you do that with? For us, it's like trash and like the calendar and stuff like that. But for you got to figure out what it is, and you got to start to go to work at it. You don't magically, as much as I don't want to admit it, like, you do not work better under pressure. Like, I don't know. I'm sure they've done scientific studies on this, but like some of us like to think that we do better under pressure. I'm one of those people, but like at the end of the day, you're relying on this magical ability instead of your own maturity and responsibility.
Right.
You're like the kind of person, me, who says like, "Oh, I do better under pressure anyway." You're sloughing off a responsibility somewhere. Somebody has brought something to your attention about, "Hey, you need to do this better, or you need to fix this." And I'm like, "Nah, I do better under pressure anyway. I'll be fine." Like,
it's like, think of how crazy that sounds. Like, "Oh, don't worry, when the stakes are even higher than they are right now, I'll perform." It's like, really? Because the stakes are even higher than they were now. Like, it's not taking out the trash anymore. It's like, getting a project done at work on time. It's something that actually matters.
Yeah. And plus then at that point, like, the consequences are more permanent and severe. It's going to be way harder to come back from something like that, like a missed job opportunity, because you think, "Oh, I'll try." I remember this girl when I was in high school, and we didn't like each other, but that's okay. I'll leave her name out of it. But like, we did not get along. And I remember like sitting in, it was like Algebra 2 or something like that, and we were all getting tests back, and like she got this test back and she had failed, and everybody else had like passed with flying colors. It was like one of the easiest tests, and the teacher was like sort of like hinting like, "Hey, this is a really easy test. If you can't handle this, be prepared for the next unit." And I remember her looking to her friend in front. She sat in front of me. She looked to her friend. She goes, "I'll try when I get to college." She never got to college. So
it doesn't get any easier just because the stakes are higher or the situation changes.
Right.
So like, I wish it did. I wish that's how it worked, but definitely not. I feel like I had a run-in with this at my last job. So I'm still a meteorologist in the Air Force, but I fly through hurricanes now. But before that, I forecasted for pretty much all things mission-related, airplanes, whatever, when we were in North Dakota. And so the thing with forecasting with airplanes that move, they don't just stay in one spot, which means you have to know the weather over a bunch of different states, countries, bodies of water, because obviously the airplanes don't stay stationary. And so I was going to do this one really big weather brief for somebody that was very high ranking. And I remembered looking over the brief that somebody had built. I'm like, okay, I got this. Like, I know what the mission's going to be. I kind of know where the weather's going to be. Like, I'm not super familiar with this area of countries, but like, once I get there, I'll remember and it'll be fine. I'll wing it. And I got there. And that high-ranking person asked me what the weather was going to be over a very specific body of water. And there were 2 bodies of water on this area of the map. And for the life of me, I couldn't remember which one it was. I was like, is he asking me about the left one or the right one? I don't know. But it made a difference because the weather was different there. And I just froze. And I like gave some very broad, vague answer. And people could tell that it was broad and vague and didn't really answer his question. And I was so embarrassed because I didn't take the time to actually look at the geography or the location before I did this brief. I was like,
you just thought, I'll remember. Yeah,
I'll remember when I get there, which is like the worst thing I could possibly tell myself. So from then on, I told myself, hey, one day a week, you've got to study geography. Did
you sit there in your office with the globe and just like spin it around and like learn?
No. So I actually learned this trick from some of my airmen. There's a special website you can go with a map and it'll like make little quizzes for you and it'll make all the countries different colors and you can like click on what are the capitals? What's this area? What's this body of water? And apparently it's something they use all the time. And I was just like, this is a great idea.
Well, I should look that up. We should put that in the show notes.
Yeah.
In case anybody else out there struggles with geography and they're forecasting.
In case anybody,
in foreign countries, and they need to know what the body of water is that we can't say on the podcast because it's classified.
Don't worry, it'll be in the show notes.
The countries. The website.
Definitely not. Just the website to review geography.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So basically what you're trying to say is like if you keep letting little things slide like that, I'll just wait for the trash. I'll remember the geography. I'll be fine. That mentality is going to catch up with you, and taking out the trash is the perfect time because the stakes are low. It's the perfect time to try and solve some of these problems, these character flaws that we all have. Figure out what your 11 herbs and spices are and like try to counteract them. So, which brings us to the action steps today. So number 1, we have a rule for ourselves. We picked this up from our other mentors, but it's basically don't trip over the same thing twice. Just you bonk your head into something. Okay, how do I make sure that I never hit my head on that again?
Yep.
Does that mean I duct tape foam to it because I'm next to it all the time? Does that mean that I change the way that I do this? Does this mean I rearrange the bedroom? Like, I know, again, you probably think we're crazier than you normally think we're crazy. But like, this is the kind of stuff that's character development. It's silly. It's weird. It's like, why does the military care about making beds? It's not about the beds.
They don't care about the beds.
It's about the discipline. It's about learning what it takes to ignore everything else and just get a perfect bed, because that's such a hard task to take full responsibility over. So our personal rule is don't trip over the same thing twice. Literally, like I tripped over the rug yesterday. I was taking the trash. I didn't even think about this.
Were you
I was
really?
taking the trash out yesterday, and I tripped over the dog's water bowl because Jennie decided right in front of the back door is a perfect spot to put the dog's water bowl.
Sounds like a great spot to me.
Anyway, we have since moved the dog's water bowl because I tripped over it. So that's a great second action step. If you want your wife to change something, trip over it and say, no, I got this new personal like growth thing where I can't trip over anything twice, so you're gonna have to move yourself.
Unless your wife listens to this podcast, then you're in trouble and it won't work anymore because she knows your plan.
Oh, well, then you both fight about the podcast, which then you can't trip over that twice, so then you have to quit listening to the podcast. I don't think that's good advice.
This is a terrible action step.
I finally got to use my buzzer.
We never get to use the buzzer.
Don't do this action step. It's bad. But still, remember the rule, don't trip over the same thing twice. You just become the kind of person that keeps bad things from happening 2 times in the same way again. You will get better at life. I guess.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
All right. So our next actually good action step, no buzzer, ding. Quit saying, I'll just remember.
We have a whole episode on this.
Yes. Episode 9 of our podcast. Go back and listen to it. It's all about how you, basically the consequences that come with saying, I'll just remember, and then you don't, and how to set yourself up a good system to actually remember properly every single time.
All right. If you're like us and you have terrible memories, that episode is great. It's episode 9, but I don't think we put that in the titles. I think the episode title is just Quit Remembering.
Yeah.
So we'll be sure to put that in the show notes as well.
That'll be an actually useful link in the show notes.
Yeah. Well, hey, the geography is useful.
Geography is useful, yes.
So anyway, I don't think we have any announcements. That's it for today's show. Again, thank you so much. We'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the show and tell other people about it. Yeah. Leave us a review. We'd really appreciate that. And if you got any questions, send us an email to letsquitpodcast@gmail.com and we can pick it up there.
Yeah, if you have any questions that you want us to answer about business, woodworking, stuff like that,
yeah, you can even record a voice memo on your phone and send it in an email, and we'll see if you get on the show.
Cool.
All right. Y'all have a good one. See you in the next one.